All right, guys, welcome back. Time to find out who our second finalist will be, SKDC or LunatiK. It's going to be an interesting matchup. I'm not going to say any more than that, Henry. It's all you.
What can I even say? I haven't seen too much from this. The only thing I really have to go on is seeing LunatiK's. Yesterday, their performance on the final map wasn't great. They seem to struggle on Dust2 especially. That's all I really can take away from this one. Like we said before, I've only seen these teams perform against very low-level opponents. Haven't been able to ascertain too much information about them. So in terms of my predictions and stuff, I think I favour this in terms of LunatiK just by what I've read from them in terms of the online history. But one player we haven't seen so far has been Relics, right? Skylar, you called him. So we didn't see him yesterday.
And he was in. Tivu's out. It was Glorins that played yesterday. So anyone who picks Glorins in Vulcan Fantasy will have Skylar instead, or Relics.
So he wasn't playing yesterday, but now he is playing. So is he like the magic substitute they have? They kind of mix and match their players. It's kind of interesting.
I haven't seen Skylar play in a long time, to be honest. And he's a well-known figure in the North American scene, specifically within the ESEA forums. He's been on a number of high-level teams. I won't say top-level teams, but he's definitely someone that coming in will have an impact. He's known for fairly good accuracy, decent deagle. I've seen out of him on multiple occasions. I wouldn't quite put him up there with Roka, but he's another one you can compare to. And obviously the only information we have on them from Cobblestone is 95% win rate. It almost looks like it's giving you the middle finger.
And yeah, there it is. It actually does. It's pretty good. So talking about the players before, we mentioned it on our Vulcan stuff. Stewie is the man, the MVP for them. I from what I've seen so far, he seems to be the strongest player, especially from the stats we saw yesterday.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Ape, again, to go back to what I said in Vulcan, and not to talk about the fantasy value too much, but the reason I picked two from this team, Stewie and Ape, is because if they want a chance in this, I think those two specific players have to step up. I think they really have to put their best foot forward. Ellis is another one who can also have an impact in games. He's never going to be a high fragger, but he gets some impact kills. Ocean Slemmy, just be consistent, but Ape needs to be on par with Stewie if they want a chance. Meanwhile, LunatiK, we've got Skylar updated into the roster. Asan, he's playing under the name Drake tonight. He switches back and forth. Invert needs to get the op-out for LunatiK, and they need more presence from him this evening.
We saw Doomore yesterday. He went absolutely ham. He was the wild card, essentially. He got some great stats on the board and did some good stuff there. A player I haven't seen anything from before, so I was pretty impressed with him.
Do you know why he's better than his teammates?
Because he's Canadian, I'd imagine. Is where you're going with that.
I unbutton this and show my Canada shirt? I brought over a bunch so I can give them away and then take some remaining.
Well, you brought a flag as well. Where's the flag so far?
Apparently, the PGL staff don't love me enough because it's still sitting on a chair somewhere and they haven't hung it in the studio yet.
Wow. Well, I didn't bring my flag with me, so I'm not that weird.
It's fine. We're not out of toilet paper at the apartment yet. I don't need it yet.
Nice.
No, I mean, look, this game should be. I think LunatiK should have the advantage in it, but again, if SKDC do come out with 8 flying, there's a chance. We saw Method take down 3 step. It's going to be another series that has all the potential to go 3 maps, but it's going to depend on what those maps are. So we'll look at the veto, and right away, I mean, instantly, we're going to see the first ban come out from Lane because I actually don't know. I'm trying to let the graphic guide me.
I think the first map is Dust2.
Oh, they trolled me. I didn't even get to see it.
No.
First map is going to be Dust2. We know that because we're already in the server.
And it's said on the screen as well. We got a little snippet of information at the bottom there. So the first map will be Dust2, but we don't know who's picked that. So,
and interestingly, this is the map yesterday that we saw a lot of problems come from LunatiK. This was when we started to see that the poor T side from them, where 10 rounds went to the pug, face it easy, and we never really saw Invert get his op rolling.
But the thing is that CT half, it seems to be a trend from this NA qualifiers so far. That CT half, they didn't actually drop around. They went 10-0 straight away, and they got back into it amazingly. So there we go. LunatiK are going to be the ones picking Dust2. That's kind of weird considering what you just said. Their T side was very lackluster, and they're going to probably be hoping they can get the CT side rolling and get back into that one. But second map will be D Mirage. I think, did we cast these guys in Mirage? I can't really remember. It's all blurring into one of these.
We have not seen these guys in Mirage to my memory.
Okay, and then the third one off being Inferno as well. So just to go back to that Dust2 point as well, it's going to be very interesting to see what side LunatiK do start on. If they can get the CT rolling and be as strong as they were yesterday, that's going to be very dangerous and hard to hold off. But their T side was pretty lackluster. We can see the
SKDC, wow, the lounge results favoring them. I'm not surprised. They've actually had, of the two teams, the most amount of professional level, as it were, invite experience of the two. They were there last season. They had a not great season. But LunatiK's the team that just qualified. They just won Premier. They get the direct invitation spot. What was Ace Gaming MSI's spot is now theirs in the Pro League. And they've been hot as of late. Twitch chat also favoring SKDC. So this will be interesting. I still think LunatiK if they play well, again, we need to see more from their T side. Could take this, but I'm pleased to see people are still behind SKDC despite their up and down over the last couple seasons. So.
Well, it seems like...
To be fair, if you go back through the history of SKDC, they are one of the more reliable mid-tier teams in North America because they came all the way through. I remember casting them like when they were in Maine. They had a really good event back with Grandpa Berets, those kind of teams when they were around. Then they got into the Premier. I won't say dominated, but had a really good Premier season. And I think it was season 17, went to Invite, and then this season was a bit of a wavery one for them. So they've got some stability within that team.
You've got a great mind for all this history. I wish I had that. I don't have this information.
You probably do in the UK scene, though.
Who wants to hear about that?
Good point. No one cares.
I definitely do, but it's not really anything to talk about, really, is it? But there we go. And it looks like it's staying on the server now. LunatiK will be starting on the T side. So although this is their map, they will be on the unfavored side. Maybe they learned their lessons from yesterday. Maybe they...
I'm actually checking Twitch chat right now.
Took a look at the demo and they potentially looked at it and saw how they could recover. They were very lackluster. Their executions were bad. They tried to go for short control every time, didn't execute properly, and found themselves forcing into positions that weren't favourable for them. So hopefully they would have learned their lesson and maybe get, I think, what did they get, 5 rounds as T-side yesterday? It wasn't really good enough. And they did
and again, it was a pug that took us to them. Now, a lot of that was by careless play, perhaps not having the same respect that they should have for their opponent because they got very aggressive on their CT side. Today they're going to have to be a little bit tidier. Hopefully they can clean up those mistakes, and that's why we find them here. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Ocean's another player that I know I said they just need to get kills from him, but he has the potential to step up big. Whether or not he does.
Whether or not he does is yet to be seen. So LunatiK starting on the T side. Their pistol round, I think if they can get the pistol, that will give them a little bit of confidence, considering what happened yesterday. If they can get a nice 3-0 on the board, I think they won't have any problems on this map whatsoever. They obviously are strong in it. They had some problems yesterday, but it was just down to the execution. It wasn't so much them getting the picks. They were actually quite good. This is something I say about a lot of NA teams, actually. It's not so much the initial round approach, it's the execution onto the bomb side. They can find picks pretty easily, and they were doing that as well. It's just working out what to do with that pick was the problem. They waited too long, they'd get 1 kill, and then they'd be sitting around in the middle area and kind of questioning what they need to do at that point. And they didn't make, and there was no assertive calls being made. The mid-round calling wasn't great. And I'd like to see them just be a little bit looser, perhaps. You don't have to be so set. It doesn't have to be a full-on execution or a set piece going into it. As soon as you get a first pick and you can work out where that was and see what you can do with it, you can do something very quickly and not allow the CTs to recover and get onto the back foot. A big problem for LunatiK yesterday was the double AWP setup. They didn't really know how to shut that down. They weren't utilising their smokes correctly. They weren't dropping down the CT spawn when executing onto A. So hopefully we'll see more of that from them, but their CT side obviously didn't have any problems. We can't poke any holes in that. I think they didn't drop a single round out of 11.
And SKDC, one of the fortunate aspects is, yes, they've got guys who can pick up the op, but it's not like they've got that much depth with the weapons, so the double op setup's going to be a bit more of a challenge for them, a bit more of a stretch. But they've got some really good riflers. I mean, all of the guys we mentioned, Stewie, insane with the rifle, Ape, really good at closing out rounds with a rifle, Ellis, Slemmy, good accuracy for those guys. So they've got a lot of potential to play a more dynamic CT side. But they wanted that double op, which you're mentioning was a crutch for LunatiK. So that we'll see how that panders out over the course of the evening. But first map, obviously chosen by LunatiK, SKDC, start out CT, and we get underway very quickly. Ocean already heading over to the B site. They've got Ellis in mid, Ape back by the window, so he'll have that swing position, but the action's not heading there. It's actually going towards Slemmy at long, and they overlook Pit. How do you not check Pit on a pistol round as he already gets there? Very quick, mind you. But they've got him down. Invert with the trade leaves Stewie in a lot of problems. Why does he stay in the open for the reload? That allows Drawsoul to get the refrag down to 3s, but no advancement down long means they'll go back to mid, reassess the situation, and see what else they can open up. I like that the CTs don't push through mid here and try and trap them in long, because that's one player so far overextended against 3 that it would have given them a split bomb site chance for the Ts.
Well, the problem is now they have no presence on A whatsoever. They're really banking. They go towards middle. They've got no one on their bomb site whatsoever. Ape does pick up a first frag there. We'll get locked down. Make it 2 headshots now. 2-on-1 situation. Inver's going to be the last man. He has got the bomb. He's just going to be looking to get that down. He should be able to cross here if he just gets across without actually facing too much.
What was the name of the main character in Planet of the Apes? What was the main ape?
Never seen it, mate.
All right, well, that's what I'm going to start calling him, because he's the brilliant ape right now with 2 headshots. Bomb gets planted, though, so this still gives LunatiK some money moving forward, and Invert might get better than that. Oh. He does! Oh, Invert, what a shot on Ape! I think it was Cecil. Cecil just died.
There we go. He's found it. Oh, my goodness, what a round that was. How did Invert do that? looked like he was just trying to get a courtesy bomb down for his team, but all of a sudden he gets 2 big kills there and clutches the round. And LunatiK, we said this would be great for them getting the pistol round considering their performance yesterday, and now they get themselves in a really fortunate position. But strangely enough though, SKDC bring out 3 scouts to the party. We don't see this very often. 2 players pushing up middle now. It's going to get very aggressive very quickly now.
We talked about the double op setup for them. They're going for 3 scouts, so maybe it is going to be something we'll see a little bit later on. Good hold by Skylar. He'll take down Ellis. I might go back to calling them relics because it's kind of like Roberts where Strebbers become more known.
Yeah.
Either way, there is a headshot from the first scout. SKDC using Stewie to bring that back. And the HP is super low because Skylar took a lot of damage from those initial pistol pushes. So
this is where the scouts can capitalize now, right?
Absolutely.
There's 1 shot and they're going to get 2 kills here. So hopefully the CTs can stay passive and work out what's going on. You can see there's one. There it is. There's the first one. Ocean has got some great information there as well. He knows no one's going to challenge him now.
But the shot's coming back. Drossel will eventually take down Stewie. They haven't been able to pick up anything to accompany these rifles, but this is smart from Slemmy. He's going to be hot on them before they're ready for it. Scout hits the first damage. Drossel's down. Invert's low. Next shot from this Scout is a kill, regardless of which player it hits. Okay, well, I shouldn't say next shot because it didn't hit anyone, but if the next bullet comes in, it won't even matter because Ocean's hot on the heels with the pistol, and the damage has been done. 5-7's not going to be enough. Invert with another round. Another potential to close it out. He's going to do the damage. Does he? Finally connecting onto Ocean, but it's only down to 72. That nade may do a little more, but Ocean's still staying by the window. And that Molotov going deep gives the position for Invert to put the bomb down, but Ocean's heard this, so he's made his way to the door. And Invert has to switch to the pistol, being so close. P250 can't do it. Ocean responding. The triple scout buy, it pays off in spades.
Yeah, you don't see many of those these days. Normally when it's CT and you get a scout out, it'll be 1 player and the pistol's trying to get some damage off for him to do some work there, but 3 scouts actually prevails as well. It came down to a 1-on-1. Perhaps he shouldn't have done the player in tunnels there. Should have just waited for his teammate. They could have pincered him together. But fantastic stuff. And SKDC get themselves straight back into this. The triple scout setup does work, and it is real. So LunatiK do get the bomb down. It's not too devastating for them at this stage. They can choose now to force buy and respond straight away. They know the buy from the CT is not going to be great, and that's exactly what they do. Tech-9 come out, armor is poor, and they've got smokes and Molotovs to play with as well. This could be very dangerous. All players heading towards the B tunnels as well.
By the way, it was Caesar, not Cecil. I've been corrected. I knew it was something close to that. Much like you, I haven't seen the film. Just the start of it.
Just the trailer.
Yeah. It was enough for me to understand that Ape has transformed into a Counter-Strike player. But now they're going to push on to B. Stewie's got the FAMAS out. But they've got through the smoke, and they've actually made their way in. That flash was brilliant. Caught all 5, but no capitalization because Stewie didn't have vision. And that Molotov behind him. Stewie's on 5, Stewie's on 1, Stewie's gone. Just as quick as that, the utilities make a massive impact on this B take. That smoke's going to also cover off Drake, who now means Slemmy's gone by, and that Tech-9 might be lined up, but Ocean's going to find it before he can do any more damage. So they only lose 1 out of all of that.
Yeah, pretty simple play from them. Got into the B tunnels, dropped a smoke down, flashes coming in, but the Tech-9s didn't really do much. I don't really favour that choke point going to B when you've got the Tech-9s. You have the advantage of the running gun tactic. Going into B for a smoke as well, you're really limiting yourself to what you can do. I would have preferred them to go through middle, maybe done a B split with that instead of sending all 5 players through tunnels, but there we go. That's not the way it went down. They are now on pretty much a full eco here. They have 1 P250 player, and all players heading out long now. Ape has got his work cut out for him.
Shots coming through though, and Ape. 1-2, hat-trick assist. Unless Mazamama will close it back. But Drake got 1 kill in there. Trying to look for the positives for SKDC. Or for
That's
LunatiK,
something
rather.
I can take away from that. Oh, yeah, that big spray down from Ape.
Well,
Great work from him.
Here's a positive, though. They do have the op now out for Invert, so look for the mid pick. It's going to be Slemmy he's going against because the weapon's also up for him. Ellis is going to stay toward that FAMAS, and a quick drop for Invert, so he doesn't stay high. Tries to catch them, and I like what I saw actually from SKDC. So we didn't see a lot of this in the first couple matches we saw in Dust. They used the grenade to use the animation for the cross, so keeps an extra smoke up when they head toward B.
Here we go, and we saw a lot of this yesterday. LunatiK don't do anything too fast. They approach around pretty slowly. They try to find picks where they can. They normally find one as well. They're quite good at that, but you can see a CT player there. It's going to be Slemmy doing the aggressive AWP. He knows people are going to be around this area. Will he be able to find any sort of play here? He's not getting boosted up. He's going to be by himself, just smoking off now, falling back. Not able to find a kill, but that's not the end of the world. He gets some good information and keeps it passive and, more importantly, stays alive.
Ape's the player that's going to play long. So he needs to control it, keep it, because if they hit Catwalk, then having control of long enables the retake much easier. Ellis has gone back down to T-spawn. He's the one that also has to watch for the drop-off cat. Slummy's going to play it with the op on the ramp. So this is a default setup on A that's more and more common. We're seeing this a lot more in the European meta. The problem is that they aren't heading toward cat. They're heading toward Ape, which means that Slummy's going to have to adjust his position if Ape can't win these duels. And so far, he's done damage but not closed it out, and they're swarming onto his position. Good flashbang. Freiburg-style bounce, but again, still not able to find these kills, and they're getting a lot closer. They will get exposed to Slummy eventually when they come around that corner, but he's not taking the fight aggressively, and in fact, they've managed to get on top of the ramp. Slummy's gone down in the meantime, so it's Ocean from Catwalk who has to make this retake. And LunatiK, oh, what a shot. LunatiK finding a potential chink in the armor of SKDC's CT side, so we'll see if A becomes more probable. Stewie's going to get caught by Dumore. Pit control had Invert closing it with the op.
Yeah, very slow play from them. We saw a lot of that yesterday, working the picks, and then actually, for the first time yesterday, they were so focused on going short together, they weren't being effective whatsoever. This time, they're actually approaching both sides of the map, both choke points, applying pressure on short and long. And that means the CT can't really stack or watch what you're doing. They can't get the AWP set up, getting everyone as they cross. So that's much better. We didn't see anything like that from them yesterday. So they definitely have gone back to the drawing board and addressed the issues they had, and it looks a lot more dynamic. And they see the full-on B rush coming in for the T's now.
They're going to get lined up because they don't anticipate Stewie, who takes a late peek after the call from Ocean, and it works out. Double for each. Both B players doing magnificent jobs. It's left to Invert with the op, and I think we know what that might mean, as it's expensive to bring back up. Bomb's been down inside pit. There's not really much chance here, unless someone gets careless and throws their life into those tunnels trying to hunt down the weapon, but they have bigger problems because Ape's behind. Good read by Invert.
So like you said, he will be just trying to save this gun. CTs now know where he is. There's no real need for them to try and get the kill. Their money's pretty fragile itself, so losing any men here is going to be very important. They know he has got the AWP, so obviously beneficial for them, but maybe not worth the risk in this situation. They're just going to try and stop him getting any more. It's kind of weird you went for a straight-up rush B there. Again, it's not the best play in the world. It's one of the Hail Mary plays you do when the chips are down, right?
And no smoke on the entry either.
So like you could have done something like that, a fast play, but done the B split. It may be overused right now, but it works. It's used a lot because it's very powerful and it's very difficult to hold off, allowing people to just get that very narrow choke point in the first tunnel and going into B. If you can get a nice little spray there going, it doesn't even matter what you're aiming at. You just shoot through smoke. You're going to hit someone if they're rushing it. So difficult play. I'm not really sure why they'd opt for that when they just get the momentum back in their favor. But Invert hasn't got the bomb. He's looking for a kill here. Does actually manage to leg someone there. And 10 seconds left on the board. He will be surviving. CT's just backing off now. They've got the information as to where he is. 3 AKs as well saved for the CT, so they've
what's
been
the
very
players
well
leave? Yeah, there's better to just hold on to those guns. And there's the start. That was the entry we were talking about. Not even a smoke deployed.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Why after winning a round, why would you throw it away like that? It's,
and I mean, there's so many smokes you can throw there. You can put one deep, give the angle to the boxes in the back of the site. You can bounce it off the arch. Does leave, sometimes if it's not thrown correctly, a little bit of a gap toward that platform, but then all you have to just cover off the closet on entry. It would have covered off where Stewie was playing from, so there was options there.
Well, this is naturally a nice tactic when you're on Eco and Dust2. If you have the AWP, you can get the picks, even in one area. They just need to find one pick with Invert the AWP, and then they can send out the swarm of terrorists with Tech 9s there. So the idea of this is just find one kill anywhere at the AWP, and then potentially they can turn this into a round. They have a little bit of utility to play with as well. Drawsoul has the smoke as well, so the idea is get one pick, go in there as fast as you can, smoke off a key choke point, and try and defend from that point. So that's all they're trying to do right now.
Drake's come back over to join as well. He initially went toward A just to see what would happen. Potentially slow down any flanks, but he ate a nade. Landed directly on his feet, so 11 HP for him. Slummy's a long way away. He's also pushed up long with Ape. But now they're going to go. Drake's got his back turned. The flash. Does it lead in? No, it's going to be the smoke. Now the flash, and it actually works. This is the exact smoke I wanted to see last round, but it comes out this time, and look at the difference. They actually at least make it forward with pistols. It won't go much further because, again, it is just pistols, and they've got to still contend with Stewie, who's now made it 5 kills over the last 2 rounds. Invert's still got that off, but this time his chances of escaping are far less.
These guys really do like the B-bomb site, especially when the idea is, when you've held the AWP, you're looking for picks. It's going to be very difficult to do that when you're running through a tunnel and it's all kicking off with all the smokes and flashbangs going off. There's not really much opportunity to get a pick in that situation. Perhaps would have been better off doing a retake on long, for example, getting him in the pit, and then they could go up together and utilize that smoke they had. That would have been more effective. But I think that's 3 rounds in a row now. They've opted to go towards the B bomb site, and it hasn't worked out for them. They didn't split again, just went all through the tunnels, and they fell apart. Invert But did he die after the timer then? So that means he goes
did.
in.
Yep.
How much money has he got? Invert. He's got $1,500 going into this round. So after that save round and he actually saving the last time, he's gone into this with absolutely nothing. So that's kind of
And even more problematic, he is the opper. Sure, they can get someone else to drop it out, but still, I mean, it's just that much harder for them to stabilize.
So after we said that LunatiK seemed that they addressed their issues and working A properly in the first round they won, this is definitely what was happening yesterday with the problems they had. Silly mistakes being made and being very stubborn towards that B area.
Good run by Dust2 to make it past that nade. So they've got some presence at long. It's going to work out to a kill. For Elsamama to come back in with 2, though, that allows Drake to get the trade, but they've also got Slemmy at the game changer at the car. And Ocean now rotating over. They're just all going to find a number of kills left to invert. Again, the last one remaining. Picked up an AK, so he's got a 1-on-3. Need coming in. Good damage. He stares it down, so it puts him on 47. Could have been potentially worse. But the bomb is down, and Stewie's going to realize that on the flank. Invert trapped inside the pit. And unfortunately, he can't dig deeper and hibernate. He can do that, though. Nice shot on his Slemmy. But Stewie comes around.
So, pretty crucial round for SKDC. They came down to a 2-on-1, but looked pretty comfortable, really. And now the buy will come back for LunatiK. Have got the AWP once again. Hasn't really been that impactful for them so far. It's not where they're finding their picks. I'd like them to see this, just slow things down a little bit more. Get up some short control. They did it so well last time, getting the short and long control at the same time and putting the pressure onto the CTs and not even allowing them to focus on one area. So that worked pretty well for them. So I'd like to see more of that.
Good shot, Slemmy. Back turned to take the initial peek, dodging that flash, and then nailing his opposition. It's going to be Skylar that's also in position. Ape's going to switch. Why does he switch to the pistol there? I have no idea. He potentially wanted to get the op, but he should have at least gone through and cleared the angle with the M4.
That's how you throw away a round and there's advantage in one horrible play.
So Drake looking at mid, forcing the CTs to get a little more passive on it. Goes back immediately after, joins in with his team. So no one lost there, and a little bit of scouting done by the Ts, but they're going to have to do a heck of a lot more. They've only got 2 rounds so far in the half. Skylar's still got bomb. He's going to head back toward long. That means Dumore looks to take the catwalk. Drake's got to join over on this. They're still committing 2 to these rotations at B. Okay, well, it's because they're also fading back off. They haven't committed just yet.
The Ts don't really seem to know what they're doing here whatsoever. Trying to find anything they can. The bomb is going to be top of middle. We can see Drake walking out middle now by himself, seeing if he can ascertain where the CTs are. He's not going to find anything, though. It's a very passive setup from the CTs right now.
And here it goes. The smoke out on mid. Dumore's bringing the bomb back to tunnels. They want this split, but Ocean and Stewie, again, the 2 players at B look impenetrable right now. There has to be a play toward catwalk eventually. They've got to find a way to take A. And again, even there, they're having problems at long, losing the first picks. Dumore managing to take down Ocean. Drawsul did get Stewie before. Slemmy's a long way from the site, so chance for Dumore, 9 HP, to at least get the bomb down. Not if Ellis gets hot on him, and that Molotov could go out, bomb gets planted. That's some positivity toward a round that gets slipped away. SKDC going to make it 7-2. I dare say they got to look A, and they need to be a little more passive at long if they can't get that kill. Find a way up catwalk.
So if you're a T side, you're down against it. It's like a 4-on-4 situation. You've got 2 players in middle. You've got 2 players in upper B. You're going for a B split. Is the best option there to run one player out, die, lose the bomb, and then another player to run out, die by himself? Or is it a much better idea to go out together and make sure you actually get the exchanges, perhaps?
I'm going to pick that one.
Yeah?
I think I'll go with that
I'm not
choice.
sure what that was about, but it seemed like someone being a little bit impatient and not even communicating properly, but going out middle and dying by yourself and then allowing your teammate to do it straight after, pretty abysmal stuff. But there we go. That's going to be another round on the ball for SKDC, and a fast execute to long. They pick up the first 2 frags and shut down LunatiK once again.
There's no openings. Everywhere they go, SKDC are finding the kills. Oh, so close for Slemmy. Drake coming through long does eventually take down Ape, so bombs at the T side of the long cave. They'll have to go back for that, but this starts to open up a little bit. The problem is that Stewie is going to be coming through the lower tunnels, so there's no option to rotate back to B even with that initial pick, and they can start to stack up the A site. And Stewie, in fact, going to go a little bit further than that, not just control the area, but get the kill on Drake at mid. Knocks it down to a 2-on-4. Ocean may have 3 HP, but he doesn't have to engage. He can leave it to his teammates to get the information, just sit back and make sure he's alive if needed at this point.
Oh, this looks like another safe situation. They've got 1 smoke remaining for the T side. They have got some short control
Stewie
there.
again, though. He's gone away from lower, and he's going to flank, so the save even becomes hard.
They need to find a frag. This right now, it's the only chance they have. Slemmy at the open side. He seems to hide now. He's got a teammate there to back him up.
And exposure for Dumore. Not really anywhere to hide on that quad catwalk position, somewhere in between. Didn't quite get to the corner, but Ellis at car will eventually put the shot in. So interesting that the M4 was at car. It didn't really matter in that case, but that the op was actually up close on the platform.
So LunatiK force buying now, and this is where it gets a little bit difficult for them. They're not winning on the rounds where they have full utility and AWPs, for example, and now they're force buying, and a round is going to be very important to them and potentially put them on another eco. And what's the plan here? Long takes weren't working, B rushes weren't working. The only round that has worked is playing proper CS and actually splitting a bomb site, going man for man and getting the kills, but I'm not really sure what they're going to be able to do with this. Ocean opens up the fragging and takes down Dumore, and it's going to go from bad to worse for LunatiK.
Oh, he had the M4 out. It was the exact time to have it. Instead, he throws the flash. Slemy's still making massive gains, though, with that op, and LunatiK, the problems continue.
What was that about, though? Like, if you're not winning the rounds with the full buys, why just try and rush short with Galils with nothing at all? Like, why would you think that was going to work? Take a pause of this situation, and let's talk about what's going wrong here, because this is just getting pretty cringeworthy now. I was like praising them, saying they learned from their mistakes yesterday, but this is even worse from what I've seen. The economy management's been rubbish. The executions onto the bomb site haven't even been there. They're losing frags. They're not getting any picks. SKDC seem to be shutting them down in almost every opportunity they have.
Grenade on tunnel. Pistols for the terrorist side. Invert has bomb staying over toward B. The rest are grouping at the doors, so look for the split. Ellis, they're through, actually. Ellis hasn't turned around. He needs to eventually. He's behind the box. He'll go for the peek late. Gets the shot on Dust2 just before the smoke blooms. And now, almost gets caught with the reload. Still going to catch Dumore, but Drake responding, and 2 HP for Slemmy as that nade lands on his feet. So the op player also weak, but it's left to Invert, and he's walking into B, and B occupied by Atlantic Pacific. I don't care. It's one of the oceans.
One of the oceans, why not? Okay then, so 10-2 in favour of SKDC. We can see a full buyout coming from LunatiK now, finally getting the AWP back in their possession. No dual up setup for the SKDC here, so they'll be just doing what. Be interesting to see where Slemmy goes to go, whether he's going to move it up a little bit. He'll be keeping that long area with 2 teammates as well. Bomb down for the T's. Going to be slowing things down perhaps now. Maybe working the picks. Like this fast approach for them so far hasn't worked at all. They've tried fast short, they've tried fast B, fast long. They don't seem to have much more in their arsenal in terms of tactics apart from just rushing somewhere. There we go, the first pick. This is where they had a problem yesterday. Even when they got that first pick, they weren't really sure what to do.
Oh my god, are you serious? Come on now. I do like the first pick. I like the response, but obviously the execution of that boost, not very swift. And now it's going to be Invert to pick up another, so we're starting to see that op come alive. And I mentioned at the start of it, we both actually touched on it, that he was going to have to make a presence with that Stewie, though. Excellent push. Getting that BAP control back by taking back the tunnels. Now it sort of funnels the offense. They've given up mid, though, and as a result, Drake catches Stewie on the rotation. Things looking probable for a third round, and LunatiK, there it is. They'll close it out 10-3. Bomb actually went down after that, after the round ended as well. I didn't see who planted it, but extra $300 for whoever that was.
So this time they got the pick, chose their position, got it up short quickly, and then it was very convincing for them. So obviously, when you get a pick at the start of the round, it makes things a hell of a lot easier. But yesterday, they weren't capitalizing properly on that. And this time, they have learned their lesson and got the first pick, chose somewhere to go and stick with it. And they were assertive, and it worked out for them. So now they could potentially can get 10-5. The dual AWP setup does come out for SKDC, though. And this is when it gets very difficult to pick them apart because it means they can lock the bomb site down with one person. And that's going to be Ocean towards that site. He hasn't actually got the AWP. They're going to hit him in middle and perhaps swap it out if things get a little bit ropey for him. There we go. Stewie comes into B now with the AWP.
Yeah, maybe. So, 1 on A, 1 on B. Slemmy's just falling back off catwalk now. Invert. Relic's looking to join at A. Ellis will be the one to play that, and I like his position here. He hasn't... Actually, we haven't seen anyone play this position yet. It is a bit unorthodox. It does leave you very exposed for a trade.
It's a one-and-done position, though, really.
It really is, exactly. But he can definitely hit that first shot. And if they're careless about it, if they come in too close together, don't have time to react, he maybe get more than that. They're going to check Pit. He goes for it. They line up. He doesn't even get the one-and-done. It's Dust2 correctly looking at that angle while his teammate was preoccupied with Pit. But there's Slemmy to come back, directly down the alley. And the other op over at the other side of the map, Stewie, is going to catch out Drake. They'll boost Slemmy on top of the site. Flash just to make sure he's got the space to do it. And now that op comes back into play. Shot through the edge of the wall, takes Invert down to 4. He's up close, he's exposed, he's on the outside of the box. That allows Skylar to get back in. But it comes back to 3 versus 3. And SKDC on the CT side have to have the advantage in Ocean. Quality shot. Quality shot. It's going to be the M4 on a very low bomb planter. And now things slow down for LunatiK. 10 seconds. They're not even going to get to recover this. They can't even get to it. The round's over. Oh, I was wrong. Drossel was on it. I didn't see him on the overlay. My apologies. So there's a chance here for them still as Invert gets another kill, but he's so low on HP. And Ape pursuing that is going to actually give it to Stewie in the end. I didn't think they even had that bomb back in recovery. My mistake.
Really scrappy round there from both teams. Just to touch on that point where I'm talking about Elza long in the one and done position, that is a viable spot, but you need to have someone in the corner basing you out at least. You can't play that by yourself. The best case scenario is you get one kill and fall down, but the T's took him down straight away, and then it was just a horrible set of affairs from both teams there. The jumping kill takes down the bomber in that situation with 10 seconds on the clock. It was a very scrappy finish, but SKDC do take that round. 11th one on the board for them, and it will affect the T economy, but they've lost so many in a row now after that long campaign they had of losing rounds. They will be able to afford 5 AKs. They do have decent utility as well, but a much slower approach from them this time. They're going to be getting into that lower B area, seeing what they can do. The bombs is going to be sitting there as well. 2 players towards long. Perhaps just trying to get a kill there, maybe get some rotations out of the CTs.
Flash over. Dumore likely going to peek off that. Almost catches that preemptive shot by Stewie, who just fires in hope and anticipation that that's exactly what Dumore was up to. And now Stewie's got the shot toward headshot. Second flash now out. Let's Dumore get forward. He's got to be careful because there's a player behind the door. Even if Stewie gets over aggressive on that secondary peek, it could still be traded, and he doesn't know. How does he not? I'm sure there was a shot that came through from Ellis before that to hit the door, but obviously not thought of. An Ocean, he's found Drossel. Very good entry to check that spot. Nade will come back through, do a little bit of damage to the last 2 remaining players. They have the B site. If they can hold on to these choke points, never mind, Stewie's through. There's a chance they can close out the round, but Stewie, a very good counter entry, and Elzamama makes it 12-3. SKDC, we're back to our one-sided games. Very good half.
Yeah, great stuff from them. They didn't really have to do too much. They didn't have to adapt necessarily. They just kept playing their game. LunatiK making a lot of mistakes there. Going all in on those fast strategies. They wasted about 3 or 4 rounds in the B bomb site, just rushing into there by themselves. Rushed long a couple of times, didn't approach that properly, and then the rest of the rounds were just falling apart. They're getting picked. The rounds they did win were pretty good, though. They seem to have learned some mistakes from some mistakes yesterday, but it was a very one-sided affair indeed. Just looking at the pistol round, LunatiK did actually win the pistol round, and when you win the pistol T-side Dust2 and you only get 3 rounds total, you've got to ask yourself what the hell is going on. Only 2 gun rounds going in their favour. But as we say that, though, their CT side is very good, believe it or not. This is their pick, but after seeing that, you wouldn't have thought
so. Yeah, but
so,
no chance even here at all unless a pistol comes in. I mean, it would be a miraculous comeback at that point if they don't get the pistol.
Well, that's the thing. They only got 5 rounds yesterday. It's even worse than yesterday. They got 3 this time. But like we said, they got 11 rounds in a row on their CT. Will they be able to do the same? Obviously, need the pistol so badly. If they lose that, it's going to be game over. But we said that in the last series on Train, and they came back and did it. So maybe it can be done. Who knows?
Welcome to the amusement park.
They have got that really decent
roller coaster.
They have got that really decent long spawn as well. Whether they utilise that, got 3 players in a really decent position now.
So here we go, back underway. Drake aggressive already at mid, firing a few shots with that silencer through the door to see what he can find, but so far nothing coming that direction. They're going to push through, actually. Inverts all the way up. They may catch them at long, and initial damage. Elsamama, no response. And the second player was Ocean. He needs to be careful. He just barely made it into the cave, and he had the bomb. And Skylar's going to go all the way through Suicide, so there's no real chance to go back. The problem is they're so far away from A. They've overextended. Drossel has to hit that first shot on Slemmy. Does so, but now he's overwhelmed, and Stewie with that shot. They've got a chance to get this bomb in position, so things turn around. Drake, nice shot on Ape. But Ocean still has this bomb, and it's going to be Stewie to hold him off. But now he's down 2. Ocean left in a 1 versus 3. Skylar comes from long. Excellent retake potential. Drake getting up over top of the box. Not able to hit the shot. Running out of ammo. Get that knife swinging. I don't know if he sharpened his butter knife today, but Ocean, as he takes that duel, almost leaves his back open to Invert, but he was so low on HP. He recovers nicely, and it's all down to the 1 versus 1. Skylar able to close it. He didn't have a massive amount of frags in the first half, but there's one that he needs.
God. Watching LunatiK here, but that's more like Looney Tunes, I'm afraid. There's everyone jumping around trying to knife each other. Horrible exchange of aim there, but yeah, there we go. It does go in favour of LunatiK, and that is the round they needed. A little bit scrappy towards the end there, but it all counts. It was quite good up until that last bit of the execution, but there we go. They will be able to get a full rifle by here. I actually like this from SKDC, getting a bomb down as well. They don't have to do the Tech 9 armor here. They can opt in for AK's next round. And in the context of what's going on, that's very good for them. This is a round LunatiK can't afford to lose anyone, really. They need to make sure they keep a clean sheet.
So Relics this time out toward long. They've also got support system for Drawsul. He's going to throw it like late smoke, but they are coming through here. And Drawsul needs to get back quickly because he's rotated off of it. Now the support and the crossfire comes in, but not before Stewie takes down Skylar and Pitt. And very low HP for Drawsul. This may not amount to much, though, because the damage has been done. And there it is. Stewie's the last alive. So still working out all right. But good damage. A bit of economy damage. Stewie's got two, picking up, an M4. Oh, he tries to throw it away so it's not recoverable.
That's quite clever, actually.
Yeah, because he knows he's probably not going to save it.
That's pretty cool. That's what I'm talking about. Them losing even 2 kills there was pretty detrimental to him. And hiding the M4, he knew he was going to die. That's clever. I like that a lot. So you can see now, they can get the AK-47s out. And the CTs, they're going to have a couple of FAMASs here. They've got one player draw soul on 3600. He's trying to work out whether he gets the FAMAS or opts in for a scout. Interesting. So I actually favour SKDC considering the bar they have here. This is going to be really difficult for the CTs to hold this one off.
Yeah, traditionally speaking, you would definitely favour them. They've got 3 kits up as well. Decent utilities aside from Dumore, who elected to go for the M4. But I mean, we saw what the scout potential can do when they went for SKDC went for that 3 scout buy in the second round. I mean, just getting the damage, right? And now it's not just pistols, it's rifles. There's a lot of potential still there. So if they can find the openings, Drawsul, it could turn out to be interesting. But he's all the way back at A, and right now there's a lot of pressure at mid. They do have invert inside CT spawn. He's now smoked, so Drake has to make the call if he's going to put his attention to middle or help out Dumore just holding the site. Right now he's playing in the inside of the door, but there's no one in a tunnel, so he actually could push out. But it's all for naught right now, because apparently SKDC, it's just to sell, just to try and hold invert, and they'll look toward the catwalk. And now the scout will come into play. But they're still not all the way around. Taking their time with it. Now they'll come. Invert, he saw that first smoke. He knows the drop strategy is a possibility. So he gets on the boxes. They won't be able to get down quite so easily. And good play by him. He'll stop the first push, but he goes back inside the smoke, which leaves his teammate open. Drawsul, who's somehow still alive, trying to find more damage, eventually goes down to Ocean's AK. And Alsamama, will try and take back Pitt because the bomb will go down. Stewie finding invert. It's looking good for SKDC. Drake not going to make it overly easy. And 3 players up, 3 players weak, 2 players full for the CTs. LunatiK have to play like lunatics, both coming from catwalk, and Ocean's not going to peek until he has to. Perfect play. Finds Dumore, doesn't spot the drop down from Drake, but his teammate may. In fact, Elsamama's already narrowed it down, but he actually, I'm surprised he didn't get the second shot on Elsamama. Good play by Ape to come all the way up.
Yeah, that was actually really cool. The real important part of that whole tactic was Ape waiting in the long doors. He didn't show any sort of advantage there. He waited his time, waited till the bomb was down, and then he pincered them, and he came in the back. They had CT players there who weren't even aware of his existence. So that was a really nice strat there from SKDC. A huge round, obviously, in the context of what's going on right now. 13-5 in their favor. It's going to force LunatiK onto a full eco as well. So they can see the anyway stack there in middle. But with the pistols they have, it's not going to be that effective, I'm afraid. And they're just crawling into B now. This is really cool. They know they've got nothing up against them, really. So just making this first frag and making sure it's not sloppy should be pretty easy for them.
Slammy picking up the double. It's Stewie. The big fraggers all making their presence known. Drawsul does get one back with the USP. But we're potentially facing 14 rounds already for SKDC. As the bomb gets planted, it's invert. In middle. Ape's already heard him. And he's just waiting for that cross point. And invert also hearing the footsteps shuffling back and forth on the door. Hopes that the patience will go in his favor, but it's Stewie that wants in. And there it is. 2 to go.
Well then, the CTs normally would be looking down at a double eco this time, but they can't afford to do that now. 14-5. They need to get around, and they need it right now. FAMAS is going to be bought. Some M4s here. They haven't really got anything else to play with. They've got 2 smoke grenades, some flashbangs, 1 incendiary. They need to find the first frag. I wouldn't be surprised if they send a couple of players in to do something aggressive, but holding back now, they'll just be waiting to be picked off. They need to find the first frag and bring the offense to the terrorists, perhaps.
Things looking questionable, actually, with the setup right now on catwalk for the T's, because LunatiK's able to open it up as Drake finds Elsamama. Now it's going to be Drake to also try and push through this smoke, find some presence in middle. Needs to be careful. Ave's got that grenade out, so he may get this in his favor. That's bomb down. Now they can start to swarm on top of catwalk. If Drake can stabilize and control middle, they've got a great opportunity, and Invert's going to do exactly that. Pushing up catwalk, he'll take down Stewie, and things fall apart for SKDC. So we're not done just yet. They're going to prolong this no match point, at least not yet, unless they can fight themselves back into this round.
And it's going to be the last man, Ocean, with not really much you can do here. Stuck in the B-bomb, but he'll get taken off pretty quickly there. And I said a big individual performance was needed. Someone needed to get that first frag. Drake picking up 2 at the start of the round was fantastic from them, and that finally stabilizes the economy for them, and they may have a chance here. We saw them do it yesterday, 11 in a row, didn't concede a single round, and a force buy from SKDC. I'm not sure I'm a fan of this one. The economy is pretty strong in the CTs right now. They've got such a bet to play with as well. It's going to be leave Stewie as well. What kind of weapon has he got for himself? He's got a Glock and nothing else to play with, so that's kind of interesting. Here we go then. CT's playing a very passive game. You can see the T's just trying to fill out the map. I'm not sure why Stewie hasn't got a gun. He's just trying to, I think he's begging for one in spawn. And there he is. They will swap it out. A Tech 9 will be dropped in exchange for Slemmy. But now then.
Invert's got a lot of company on the other side of the cave. He fires through, hoping to catch somebody. He can fall off anytime, and he's going to do that. That'll leave Skylar to hold long. Invert to get back closer to the A site in case they work up Catwalk. But the presence right now is inside middle. That's controlled, though, because Drake and Drossel have put out one smoke on the doorway, put a double crossfire setup, and now it funnels them into Catwalk. So Invert will have to play this. There's nowhere to hide now with this op. Very open position, too, as he's at the highest part of the ramp. And he goes out. It's a bit early. Does damage, though, onto Stewie, who's going to be the drop player. He needs to get caught by Drossel right now, because as a result of this, Invert knows he's got the problem. It's going to give up a lot more positioning on Catwalk, but when he comes back, he hits the shot. That's the important aspect. It'll slow things down. Slemmy gets a little bit closer, but it's all going back, and Ocean is actually going to make this back to a 2-on-2. I was about to say it's all going back to LunatiK, but problem is that Slemmy and Dumar are exchanging numbers right now, potentially setting up a date for later while the action's going on at A.
There it is.
And there it is. The LunatiK will close it out.
Yeah, Slemmy trying to hold that mid area. It was a frag he had to get. They have any chance of getting it, but a great hold by LunatiK there. Inver picking up a very important frag there with the AWP. He had to hold them off, and he did some great work with the incendiary as well. Forced them to come out. They couldn't fall back at that stage. And that's why I'm questioning that force buy from SKDC. When you have so many rounds to play with, you probably want to wait until you can get the full buy and just guarantee yourself the victory in a round, maybe. Like, try and work out, give yourself the best possible chance at least. Work the percentages. You don't need to force buy in this situation. Now they see themselves onto a 4 eco, and it's going to be interesting to see how they approach this one. It looks like a very fast long take, and all 5 players there, which will be completely shut down by the incendiary grenade going straight in.
Well, we don't need to tell you what the anticipated play is. We see it materialize, and it's Skylar who's going to throw again that bounce flash. This lets Drossel come into the fold, but unfortunately he's got up by a flashbang as well. Doesn't even matter. Skylar, hat trick. Anti-eco looking solid. So 14th round is where they're going to stall out. In the words of Kerrigan, TSM never had a choking problem. They had a 14-round problem. So let's hope SKDC aren't guilty of the same thing.
A lot of teams do, and that's why you don't really want to be force buying when you have 14 on the board. It's just not recommended. I know a lot of teams are anxious to kind of close it out and see whatever they can do, but I've always said to teams I've been in especially, let's just play the percentages. We've got so many rounds to play with. Make sure we go into every round with as much money as possible and give ourselves a very strong chance of winning the rounds. Again, no AWP for SKDC. Their economy is not being stabilised yet. And Invert getting boosted up to shore, going for that first pick. Won't find it though, but getting good information, seeing 3 terrorists there, and they're going to bail out into middle now.
Drake, though, has the opportunity to catch them off guard as they were still deploying their utilities on the CT spawn, but Ape's not going to allow it, so now SKDC have the opening. Skylar responding, and it's Dumor inside the site. Has to come up big. First shot successful, but Stewie's there to trade it. As they went left and right and dispersed accordingly through the door, it's down to Drossel. And the retake, all 3 players coming from mid, which all that means is that Stewie, who hunts in tunnels, can now turn back around and be able to play the bomb. Just wait for that defuse to come in, as that smoke will hold things up a little bit longer. They want to push through it. They get through it, and it's a whiff by Slemmy, so Relics now has a chance to pick up 2. It's going to be left to Stewie, who comes back in. He can't control the spray, and Invert is going to bail this out. 11 HP, 1 more bullet, it was over.
That was crazy. The Deagle action at the end. The full spray of the Deagle wins the round for them. And a 3-on-3 situation, a very difficult retake, especially when you've got the AWP as well.
And Stewie even calling for the HP. Confused as to how he doesn't collect that.
Yeah, this is going to be even more frustrating for them now. And again, a force buy coming in for SKDC. They didn't really have the money to justify this one. Galil in hand, no nades whatsoever for Els and Ocean. They're going to be getting themselves in a very difficult situation. Losing this one, they're going to see they're just doing full-on long takes now. Maybe just getting frustrated.
Flash out on Invert. That initial smoke too means he can't get that shot at the corner. He'll just drop a flash far enough out so that if they took a reverse peek, they would get caught by it. And the boost through elevator safely puts him on top of the platform. But things have slowed. Oh, Stewie. Overextension. Good counter frag, though, by Ocean, catching Dumore, who was looking for the information. And because he wins that duel, Skylar, this is interesting position. Because initially I was going to say because he wins that duel, it means they have to fan back out. But Skylar's going to have heard them go by. They can call for an early rotation. Invert's now on the way. He's waiting with the op just for the cross, but with the smoke out, he's going to get faster to it. And both of those players we mentioned in good positions are caught out. Ocean, it's going to go match point SKDC. It's going to go away from them. I really did think Skylar could have pulled that back.
He could have done so much with that. He was trying to be too clever, I think. He allowed 2 players to go past him. He wanted more. He wanted the big payday. He wanted a 3 and 4 man and allowed them to get into the bomb site. And they just got caught up by a T rotating back from him. They took long at the start. They pulled the CTs away. And the normal reaction to that, when you lose position on the map as a CT, you need to push somewhere else and get some positional control elsewhere. They did that, got the B tunnels, but one player went down. But like you said, Skylar had such a great position there, and he's going to be very disappointed with that. That takes SKDC to map point now, and this is it. SKDC do have decent bankrolls, both teams do, but obviously this is a huge round.
Good flash, fully blinding Invert as it makes it through the door. A nade to follow, not far enough back, deep enough onto him. As we see both setups. Good push though from Drake down catwalk. Invert Jostle. It's a bit of a stack toward A right now. Dumore's on his lonesome at B, and there's not a heavy presence inside the middle. Drake will watch off catwalk and be able to support Invert, but they're going to give up a lot of position if SKDC head that direction. That's a big if right now, because so far nothing indicates they will. And before they even have the opportunity to do so, Invert's already come back out. So things will slow down a little bit more here. But Slemmy's got the bomb toward B. It's going to be Dumore who's got to slow that down, because if he wins the battle against Dumore and Invert gets tied up in mid, they'll get a bomb plant. But Invert now is going to swap positions, and there it is. Op with a very linear shot into the tunnels, takes down Slemmy, dropping bomb. They have to win these duels at mid just to get it back as SKDC, and they are. Elsamama taking down 2. It's left to Invert back to the site, finding Ocean. That's a big play. It leaves him in 3 versus 1 as Ape is the last one left, and he's caught with the flank from tunnels. SKDC not really to get.
Unfortunately for them as well, when you're doing a B split like that, you can't show the presence of the bomb, let alone lose it in the tunnels before the guys have done anything in the middle. Invo getting that kill onto the B tunnels and calling that he got the bomb as well. You can just know an instant rotations coming from the CTs, and at that point it's very difficult for them to even split or pin to the side because they're getting attacked from all angles at that stage. So that was a very good recovery from LunatiK, and now we've got another fast tactic coming from SKDC, getting that long control in. They're forcing the CTs back as well. This is what's good for them. This is where they get some control of the map, and this is what we saw the B tunnel push last time. It hasn't happened this time from LunatiK.
And A becomes so open to hold from that far back. Very hard to peek when you've got multiple people around that long corner, but Ape hasn't gone. He doesn't know that he has that control, and that means they're going to head toward catwalk, where essentially the stack would favor, as Skylar finding the first kill on Elsamama. 8 lower, he's on 48-1 HP, so things looking good again for LunatiK to take this a bit deeper. Again, their CT side carried them yesterday. It's going to have to here, but Ocean and Slemmy, they'll bring this back, and catwalk open for business. If an aid comes in, though, Slemmy's in a world of hurt. Or rather, Ocean, excuse me, in a world of hurt. Drossell's rotated over now as well, so Dumore's holding B solo from mid. But SKDC not aware of this. Don't take map control. And Ocean coming out on the op. It didn't even matter that he had 5 HP. He was dead regardless. Good repeak from Slemmy. And now Drossell's in a bit of a problem because on the ramp he's very exposed. He's forced back into CT. This gives up the A site, so Slemmy will take the plant. Ape, very wise to this fact, heads down to long. It's not planted 100% for him. A nice jump shot from Drossell will do massive damage onto Slemmy, making Dumore's job a little bit easier. And that means Ape with a rifle now has the problem of Drossell. As we see with the op, he doesn't spot him on the first peek, and Slemmy somehow still alive. Slowing things down, will drop.
Here we go then.
Dumore going to try and get on this right away. Drossell looking for that peek, not able to hit the first shot. Ape can take this down and win it back, but the bomb's defused. He's stuck it the whole time. And LunatiK get to 11. SKDC don't have a whole lot of money to work with either.
I'm not sure if Ape had been on the platform there, he would at least had that advantage of seeing the bomb. He wouldn't be so low down. The crouch defuse there was almost impossible for him to see. Being on the platform would have been great. He could have even just keep peeking the CT, seeing when the defuse were coming in, gone for the one shot on the diffuser, and that would have worked out for him. But he got himself in almost a disadvantage by placing himself where he was. But here we go then. SKDC have got 1 AK, 4 Tech 9s, and it seems like they will be going for a straight out mid play, looks like. They can see they've got a couple of smokes to play with, so maybe just chucking down CT spawn and going through it. But Drake has pushed through. He's going for it. He's getting information, and he's worked out where they are as well.
And he has, which means he'll deploy the smoke. Safety play. They're going to go through this, oddly enough. And they don't see it. Same problem we saw last night, trying to come out of that smoke and react fast enough. You're so exposed, and it's just a slaughter. LunatiK taking everybody down. Ape 19 last left. He does manage to pick up 2, so damage to the economy, but they don't care at this point. SKDC need 1 round. It's not like they're playing the long game.
There we go then. It's going to be... They have got enough to buy. 3 rounds remaining, and the CTs obviously can't afford to lose anything here. No AWPs for either team, it looks like. Ape could potentially buy one, working out how he wants to approach this round now. Slemmy has bought one now, so this is when they're actually in the advantage. There's no AWPs for the CTs. They need to be gaining map control elsewhere. Pushing into B tunnels like we saw before, that's a good thing if you lose long like they have been. So here we go then. Obviously a very big round. 28, 15, 12, still match point for SKDC.
And a great default from LunatiK. They run 2 directly over to B to make sure there's not going to be a rush there. They stack up along with 3, which we see more and more teams doing to make sure there's not going to be a push at that side of the map. Those are your 2 fast choke points. Now they fall. They'll stabilize middle. They'll stabilize catwalk. So good default. Just need to make sure they win the exchanges because it is setting up for a 3-2 split on A. And do more deep inside B with Drake means that they are weakened on that A site. And Slemmy finding the opening pick means SKDC have a pretty decent chance at this. Not only that, the drop player in El Samama's going to win the duel against Drake, so the rotation's already gone. Drossel finding only 1. It's left to Drossel on the site. He's down to 32. The jump shot almost finding him. He's gone now, and it's left to just do more. 1 versus 4. And last night he was the savior in the second half for LunatiK when they were down on this map initially, but this time things looking even less likely. 1 versus 4. Bomb down. Coming from the improbable position on ramp, and Ocean will close it out. Took them a while to get there in the end, but SKDC take map 1.
So they did show a very strong CT half yet again, but unfortunately this didn't have enough rounds to play with there. Losing 12 in the first half, you saw how strong the CT half was, but when you've only got 3 to play with, it's very difficult to hold that man off. They won the pistol, but then got shot out in the 3rd round with the AK buy, if you remember, and that's when it started falling apart from them. They lost 2 rounds in a row then. They managed to get 5 in a row after that, so we know they can play CT half very well, but it just wasn't enough for them. They didn't have enough from that T side to play with.
Yeah, 3 rounds. Not to mention, they did pick up the pistol, but it was an eco immediately after. Very aggressive force buy as well with the 3 scouts that came out for the CT side. And credit where credit is due. If you're going to make that play, you got to make it count, and they do. So really well done by SKDC. Ocean stepped up big. They definitely had Stewie on point like we knew he had to be. Ape was a little bit more quiet, so that's where Ocean had to come in and did so successfully. Things are going to be interesting now to see if LunatiK can come back. That was a struggle for them last night. I'm still very surprised they picked that map.
Yeah, me too. I can't believe it, especially when you knew they'd be going up against T-side first. They don't have anything on T-side, I'm afraid. They really rely on someone who's going huge, just rushing every opportunity they can, and it was quite difficult to watch sometimes, I'm afraid. But there we go.
Well, the difficulty's over for you, Henry. The fortunate part is that map's behind us. We'll take a short break. We'll come back with map number 2 to see if there's any response from LunatiK. The second series, is it going to go 3 like the first? We're about to find out. We'll see you there. So this still gives LunatiK some money moving forward, and Invert might get better than that.
Oh.
He does! Oh, Invert, what a shot on Ape!
Players heading out long now. Ape has got his work cut out for him.
Shots coming through, though, and Ape.
A lot more dynamic. And you see the full-on B rush coming in for the T's now.
They're going to get lined up because they don't anticipate Stewie, who takes the late peek after the call from Ocean, and it works out. Double for each. Both B players doing magnificent jobs. It's left to Invert with the opponent. But it comes out this time, and look at the difference. They actually at least make it forward with pistols. It won't go much further because, again, it is just pistols, and they've got to still contend with Stewie. So they've got some presence at long. It's going to work out to a kill. For El Samama to come back in with 2, though, that allows Drake to get the trade, but they've also got Slemmy at the game changer at the car.
Forward to this situation, and let's talk about what's going wrong here, because this is just getting pretty cringeworthy now. I was like praising